Hey Meeple people, and on today's vlog, we're playing Space Plague by Bamboo Studio. Let's get to it!
The time has come. Plagues of all races and colors have received the same message, each in their own language. A new planet has been discovered. Go and take it for yourselves. Long live the Slime Kingdom. Prosperity for the brilliant Flat Earthers. Victory to the interdimensional reptilians. More power to the horny horns of the horny goats. The commanders ready themselves, their armies await orders. Space reverberates, and everything that can shake, shakes. The race to conquer the new planets is the most important game in the galaxy, and those that win will gain for themselves and their species a brand new spherical landmass to rule and populate. Commanders, the race has started. Prepare to demonstrate to the watching universe that your faction is the fastest, the smartest, and the most adaptable.
Hey Meeple people, and hello Sarah.
Hi.
So Sarah, what kind of game are we playing today on our vlog?
We are playing Space Plague, a 2 to 4 player game from Bamboo Studio. They sent us this copy for the channel. Thank you so much. This is a game that will be launching on Kickstarter soon, and everything that you see today is not final form. Probably pretty close, but this is like a prototype copy of the game. So we'll just get that out of the way right off the bat. So in this game, we are racing to kind of amass as much of our race on a planet that we are attempting to sort of like overtake for ourselves as possible. And at the end of the game, whoever has the most of their plague on that planet has successfully conquered that planet and won the game. Would you like to know a little bit about how it plays?
Yes, please.
Okay, so in this game, there are elements of deck building, there's elements of racing, and if you let it, there's going to be a lot of AP. So what's going to happen is each player is going to start with an identical deck of playing cards, and these are going to let us do different things with different pieces, move things around, get new cards, that kind of stuff. So we're also going to start with this like sort of dashboard right here. And this dashboard represents our ship and then sort of like the areas we have to traverse to get to the new planet. So our little plagues will be moving along this track right here, and hopefully they'll get to the end of the track and they'll be transported to the planet we're attempting to conquer, and hopefully we'll be able to accumulate a lot of our plague on the planet. So the way that it works is we're going to go through different phases of the game. There are 4 phases, but the bulk of the game consists of playing these cards right here. And we start with 6, but we have the opportunity to add more to our deck as well. And they're going to let us do things like play a single or double disc, and this would be played directly to our spaceship right here. So if I played the single card, I could put just one there. If I played the double card, I could put a stacked one. That's a captain. He's a little bit more impressive. We also have ones that are going to let us move, right? So this would let me move 2 spaces with 1 piece, or I could move 2 spaces, 2 pieces, 1 space each. There's an extra one for single. This one is going to let me either move 1 space, so I could move this boy here, right, like this, or it's going to let me shield 1. And I get this little shield right here that I can place onto a unit on the board, and that's helpful because throughout the game there are points when being on different sort of land types might be detrimental, and if you're shielded, then you'll be protected from whatever is about to happen. And then finally there's a card that's going to let you buy new cards for your deck, or roll this die. And anytime we roll this die, we'll place these crystals onto sections of our board with the related icon. So for example, if I roll this planetary symbol here, I would take these crystals and I would put one here, and I would put one on this one that I'm sitting on right here. And when you step into a space with one of these crystals in it, you can pick it up, and this is how you pay for these cards that you might add to your deck or your sort of tableau. This is the cost of those cards, and then this icon right here tells us where we're going to put that card. There are 3 types of cards. There are cards that happen as soon as they're acquired. There are cards that go to our hand, and then there are cards that we can play to this area of our ship right here, and they're kind of always in play. Sometimes they're a passive ability, sometimes you can kind of choose to trigger them, but essentially we'll keep those those types of cards here on our ship, and we can buy additional ones if we want to. If you already have both of these slots filled, that's fine. You can buy a third one if you want. You just have to decide which of these you're going to get rid of to put that into your ship. So basically that's how all of these cards work. What happens is on a turn, what we're going to do is we are going to move this card down one space. And if there was already a card here, then this one would move off. So we would move this card down one space. Now later in this round, this event is going to happen because it's moved into this space right here. The next thing that's going to happen is this card will move down to fill in this space here, and we'll reveal a new card off the top of this deck here. And this icon is going to tell us what happens next. So sometimes it's going to look like one of the land types that we see in our travels, right? And if that's the case, then we just add a crystal to that land type. Sometimes it's the die and we roll to see where the energy crystals end up. Sometimes it might be something else too. So when we reveal a new card from this deck here, we'll do whatever this icon says to do. And then what's going to happen is we are going to all secretly choose a card from the cards in our hand that we want to play that turn. Then, starting with the active player, we'll each reveal our card and take our action if possible. And I say if possible because if I'm not the active player this turn, if I'm not the start player this round, and someone ahead of me in the turn order does something that affects me, I may not be able to actually do my action that I planned to do that turn. But one way or the other, when it gets to me, I'll reveal my card. If I can do it, I'll do it. If not, then it just sort of pass. And then what happens next is we each address the sort of event that's going to take place this round. So in this particular round, we would stop all the movement of plagues on water for the next two rounds. So any plagues that would be on water spaces like this one here wouldn't actually be able to move forward for the next two rounds. There are other ones that say things like you can produce energy on particular tile types, right? Like, so this one, if this was the active plague for this round, or sorry, excuse me, planetary event for this round, then we would produce energy on mountain and nature spaces. So we would just take ones from here and we'd put them on mountain and nature spaces over here, like so. Whatever the effect of this card would be, we carry it out. And then, if possible, all of our plagues on the board move one space forward. And if that's possible, then they move. If not, then they don't. And then we just pass the start player to the next player and we start a new round. And we just continue to play through these steps here until we've run out of cards in the planetary deck and all of the cards that are in this section here have been played out. So if we had completely run out of cards in the planetary deck, these are the last couple of cards left. We would do this one here, right? It gets removed. This one drops down. We finish this round. We complete this here. And then when this is completely empty, then the game would end. Whoever's accumulated the most of their plagues on this planet here at that point wins. And there's a couple things here and there that I didn't touch on, but that's kind of an overview of the game. Should we give it a try, Nick?
Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into Space Plague. So we'll get back to you guys midway through the game. All right, toodles! Welcome back, Meeple people, and hello, Sarah.
Hi there.
So how's it going?
Good, I think. Neither one of us have gotten any plagues to the planet yet.
But
I have a few that are really close to getting there, so hopefully they'll make it. And you don't have anybody on your track.
No, but I am slaughtering a lot of people for a certain card that will get me points at the end of the game.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to, it just seems like that's what's happening.
Yeah, it's pretty challenging to get your plagues all the way down this entire track without them dying. You have to kind of look ahead. You always know sort of like what's coming, right? So like this is the one that's going to happen this round, and this round we're going to have to destroy plagues on 2 types of land hexes, right? So if you have any plagues on these types of land hexes at the event phase of this game, or this round, excuse me, then they're going to die unless you can do something to protect them. And you know that that's going to happen this round, but you can also see what's going to happen over the next couple of rounds too. So you really have a lot of opportunity to try to manipulate the plagues on your track so that hopefully none of them are in positions to be killed when those events sort of pop up over here.
We also mentioned, though, that this game can lead to a lot of AP, analysis paralysis.
Yeah, and I think that's because you can see so much of what's coming, and you can be like, okay, this round, if I do this and this, then I'll protect my guys from this, but then the next round, that means that one of them is going to be on here, so I'm going to have to do this, and then the next round, and so you're looking like so far ahead and trying to work with like so little in your hand to try to avoid all of these things, that we've experienced some AP trying to see all of this future in front of us and avoid, like, you know, having to sacrifice our plagues.
And also you're gathering cards, and it's not like in certain deck building games that, you know, there's like Century Spice Road, where when you rest, you can rest at any point. You have to play all your cards in this one until you get to the last one, or if a card breaks that rule and says you play all this and then you rest, but then that card stays down. So then you have to play all your cards until you play that last card so you can pick up again.
Right, so the way that it works is each player has a hand of cards, right? On your turn, you select and play a card, and you just continue doing that until you only have 1 card left in your hand and all the rest are in your discard pile. And then what you do is you play that one, but you pick up all of the cards in your discard pile at that point. And that's the only way to get those cards back. Like Nick was saying, unless there's some special thing happening, that's typically the only way you can get cards back into your hand. So you have to, not only do you have to contend with like all of the future events that you know are coming up, but you also have to work with, you know, your hand, and knowing that like, okay, if I play this card now, I'm not going to get it back for at least, you know, 3 rounds or whatever.
Especially if you keep adding cards to your hand.
Yeah, because it does have a small deck building aspect to it, right? We can add these cards to our hand when we purchase these cards. They're either going to happen immediately, they're going to be able to be active for the remainder of the game, or they're going to go to our hand, which is great. It increases your hand size and your capabilities. And they're usually better than the starting cards, right? But it does increase your hand size, and then that means that you have more cards you have to play before you can, you know, pick up all of your cards again. So it's definitely quite challenging to know when to play which card so that you can hopefully avoid having your plagues killed. But I personally think that it's really interesting. I think it's definitely, for me personally, I'm definitely, I can tend to be prone to analysis paralysis, and it doesn't do anything to mitigate that. I feel like a recent evolution in board game design has been mechanics that are built into the game to help reduce AP, and this one doesn't seem to have much of those mechanics built in. So if you are prone to AP, just be aware that this one doesn't do much to help with that. And it seems like to me there's definitely like the potential to fall into that pitfall if you're not careful.
Yeah, but it's good. We're having fun.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's cute.
Yeah.
I think the mechanics are interesting. It's kind of a blend of some familiar things. The deck building does feel kind of like Century Spice Road or Century Spice Golem, if you're familiar with either one of those. And the race is the same familiar mechanics of any race, right? But this one is interesting because as you can foresee all of the events that will befall your plague, thank you. Befall your plagues as they make it through each, you know, sort of leg of the race. You're contending with all these possible, you know, outcomes. So I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
Should we finish it up?
Yeah, let's go ahead and jump back into Space Plague. and see who is the winner and loser. So we'll see you all at the end. Toodles! Welcome back, people, and hello, Sarah.
Hi there.
So, who's the winner and who's the loser?
I win.
And I lose.
I have successfully conquered the planet 6-1.
Actually, it was 6-3 because of my.
Oh, excuse me.
My line of bodies.
Yeah, Nick had this like meat grinder thing going on.
Well, they had they were all vaccinated, and they were like, "We're not taking any crap from you." And I was like, "Okay, apparently not."
So yeah, so it was 6-3. What did you think, Nick?
I thought it was good. It's very, analysis paralysis. You're thinking a lot, and it's not always AP. It's just there's just a lot going on within this game,
but it feels light for some reason.
Yeah,
to me, it feels light, but there is a lot of thought that could go into this.
Definitely. It'll be interesting what they do on their Kickstarter that's coming up soon, and be interested to check it out and see what changes they bring as like pledge goals are made. But,
I think that it's I like it the way that it is. I don't think that there's like any problems or issues. There's a couple things that are
quality wise, some things.
But this is a prototype.
This is a prototype.
I'm not going to hold that against it. But there are a few things that are a tiny bit like mechanically fiddly. For example, this path that players form is made up of these different like land types. And you actually like stack them like this to form your like walkway.
Yeah.
And I bumped this a couple times and it would like just kind of, and it wasn't a big deal. But it is a little tiny bit mechanically fiddly. And then in addition to that, this section over here is supposed to be like a dashboard. And there are areas where players can put like upgrades, and I constantly forgot about mine. I probably would have really smashed Nick's face if I would have remembered to do this. But I completely forgot about it. So I don't know if that was like my fault, or if that's like a fiddly little part of the design where like this just becomes like, I was just completely blind to this part of the board here. Yeah, that might have been like a totally personal thing. But I know that I like forgot about these cards frequently in this game and our previous game too. So, but I think the artwork is cute and unique. I think the gameplay is fun and interesting. I think they've done a nice job implementing all of their ideas here. So I liked it. I thought it was nice. What did you think, Nick?
I liked it. It has a lot going on, and it's very thinky. So I enjoy that. And there's some fiddliness with the some of the components, but I mean, again, this is a prototype, so they have the opportunity to fix it. And also, there might be some cool stretch goals that will come out and be like, making it deluxeified. And so, like, Kickstarter exclusive and all that good stuff. So, but gameplay-wise, I liked it. It was a nice little thinky, multiple, plan ahead type game. And I
think they did a really nice job providing a good chunk of stuff to make it replayable too.
Yeah.
These things right here. There are a bunch of there's a bunch of different ones of these, and we played with the recommended starter setup, but there's different configurations for how to lay these out. There's also like you can do it randomly with the cards. We played with all of the cards, and it might be nice to have a few more cards, especially in this deck where you do play with all of these cards every game. So that might be nice to have more of these, but even so, even though we only had a set number of cards, there were plenty of cards in this deck over here. We didn't even get through like half of them in this game. There was something else I was going to say about that. Oh, and also it was something about the replayability. Give me a second.
Not
helpful.
Oh boy.
it was something about the setup of this game. Oh, when you set up this deck right here, this one right here, there are 4 sort of like special event cards that happen in this deck. And when those cards come out, they trigger a special event that's like unique to your game because of this card. And there are different cards that you can use for this. And in addition to the extra cards that you can use for this here, you can also choose to set up this deck where you have like a completely random deck and you have no idea when those special event cards are going to pop up. Or you can do it in like, okay, within every 6 cards, somewhere within those
pile
like 6
shuffling.
cards.
You can get, they recommended 4 piles, and you put the 4, different kind of world cards that will affect the game in a unique way in each one of those piles, and then you would just slap them on, you shuffle them and slap them on top of each other, and then you would go.
Right, so you could do that, or you could just like shuffle the deck like totally randomly. So I feel like they did a lot to include different ways to play. And in fact, now that I'm discussing that out loud, I'm thinking that even though you play with these cards every single game, and I said that I would like to have more of these, because there are different planets that you can play with, and because the different planets affect the game differently within this deck here, you know what, it's fine that they included the number that they've included here, because you'll see the replayability come out when you play with different planets. Okay. So yeah, so I think that they've done a lot to have a good bit of replayability here. And I think that everything works. We had a good time with it. Do you have anything else to say, Nick?
No, we'll put the description, we'll put the Kickstarter information in the description below. And as all the other stuff, the BGG link and all that good stuff, so you can check more on it. And yeah, so anything else, Sarah? All right. Well, this is our vlog of Space Plague. We hope you all enjoyed it, and go ahead and check out that Kickstarter. And so until next time, hit that like and subscribe button so you stay up to date on all of our videos. And we will see you guys next time. Toodles!